Hi everybody, and welcome to week 5 of Methods of Social Work Research. We're at that point in the course where I can never quite believe how quickly the course is going. These 7-week courses definitely seem to fly by. We have, I think, come a long way so far, and I'm looking forward to the progress that everybody makes in these last 3 weeks as we sort of get into the home stretch here. This week we are going to be continuing to discuss quantitative research, and specifically look at research designs, including experimental and quasi-experimental designs. We sort of, just backtracking a little bit, in week 3 we looked at sampling methods, and then last week we looked at operationalizing our variables, so how we define what we're looking at in a study, or what a researcher is looking at in a study, how that is defined and how that then is measured. So if we're looking at, what is the relationship between academic performance and self-esteem, we've identified our independent and dependent variables, as we operationalize those, how are we going to measure them? And this week, what we're really looking at is getting more in depth into how we design our study. So we have our sample, and we have our variables, and we have our measurement, but how does this all work together? So you'll of course be watching an overview video, and then in terms of our objectives and readings, through this week's activities and readings, you will understand the differences between experimental and quasi-experimental designs. You should definitely be able to describe the differences between validity and reliability in research. Those are two really, really key concepts to wrap your brain around, particularly when we're talking about quantitative research and when you're critiquing articles. And you will also be able to describe program evaluation through the article critique that you'll be doing. And just one note about that, I did post an announcement earlier today with a link to a website, the CDC's website. They have a section that is an introduction to program evaluation that I think provides a nice, clear framework for differentiating program evaluation from other types of research studies, in a way that I think the video in that program article assignment doesn't quite do as clearly. So you may want to check that out. So for week 5, you will be, there's no readings in the Halasco text for this week. However, you will be reading a number of segments of the knowledge base website pages. Again, we always start with the links in the language of research, so if you're not sure what reliability is or validity is, certainly use this page to check those out. We'll be focusing in specifically on internal validity and looking at the links related to that, as well as the introduction to design and the types of designs. And then more specifically, you'll be looking at the sections that deal with experimental designs and quasi-experimental designs. And you'll see there's a general overview of experimental design, and then you'll see here there are several different types of designs. And then here are the quasi-experimental designs. So these are the links that you'll be reviewing for this week. If anyone has any questions about those, please, as always, feel free to email me, post in the Ask the Instructor forum, or join my virtual office hours tomorrow, Tuesday evening. Okay, so in addition to the website readings, you have a couple of TED Talk videos here that you will review related to data and statistics. You also, as always, have your PowerPoint presentation for the week. And again, I always think this is a good place to start for the week because I do think it gives you a good overview of all of the content and sort of a framework. I do feel like this PowerPoint does very quickly go through a number of terms and concepts. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll be glad to try to help talk you through any concepts that you may be finding more challenging or that you have questions about. There also is a video on paraphrasing properly, which will be very important in your article critiques. And I've mentioned that to some of you even in your discussion post responses, the importance of paraphrasing versus using direct quotes. and also the importance of making sure you're using citations when you paraphrase. And finally, supplemental videos. If you go to this link, you will see there are 13 TED Talks in this playlist. Some of them are fairly short, some of them are a bit more lengthy, but these are some great supplemental materials to also review that I think are pretty engaging and an exciting way to start thinking about some of these concepts. Oops, sorry about that, my email popping up. So those are the assignments, or the reading assignments, I'm sorry, and videos for the week. And we will jump back here and get into the assignments. So for your week 5 individual assignment, you will be doing your program evaluation article critique. I believe most of you, if not all of you, have submitted your program evaluation article to me, and you should have received feedback from me regarding whether that article was approved or whether or not you need to resubmit. If I did ask you to resubmit, please make sure you do that by Wednesday so that you're giving me enough time to review it and yourself enough time to do the assignment. There's also a video here regarding organizing your paper correctly using headings and APA formatting. And let's see, jump to the actual assignment and rubric. So again, you chose a program evaluation research article on a topic in which you are interested. This paper is going to be organized with headings and subheadings into 5 sections, addressing each of the areas in the rubric below. It's going to be a 4 to 5 page paper, not including your title page or references. And again, APA format should be used, including a title page, citations, and a reference page. And you're going to upload your article critique in the assignment area for grading by Sunday at the end of week 5, and then in the discussion area for discussion in week 6. So same idea of what you did with the literature review critiques this past week. And again, I think I said this last week, but regarding paraphrasing versus direct quoting, we want to use direct quotes very sparingly. We should really only be using them when we really want to emphasize an idea and there's no other way to do so or to explain in our own words. So we should always look to paraphrase first, unless that absolutely, isn't possible. And again, always make sure you're using citations. And here is the rubric. So the first section of your paper is going to be an overview of approximately a paragraph. So you want to present the article in your own words. The second part of the paper is going to be a description that includes approximately 7 short paragraphs. They don't have to be long. And you want to describe these bullet points using subheadings. So you're going to be describing the research topic, the key concepts or themes, the aim or purpose of the study, the sample, data collection, findings, and then any limitations that the authors have cited. In the third section of the article is where you're going to provide your critique in about 3 short paragraphs, again using subheadings and referencing Halasko. And you want to critique the article for the clarity and readability, methodology described in section 2 above, and you can use these relevant chapters in Halasko as a guide. And then the strengths and weaknesses in detail are to be discussed in this section. Section 4, you'll do a paragraph on the importance of the article's topic and problem in relation to social work in general, so that's the so what. And then the 5th section, again, will be approximately a paragraph, and will deal with the relevance of the article to you, both personally and professionally, as well as how it relates to your future social work practice. So that's the who cares. And again, your APA format is here: title page, 1-inch margins, double-spaced, 12-point Times New Roman font, 4 to 5 page limit, headings used for the 5 sections, making sure you're properly using in-text citations and references and following APA format. So if anyone has any questions about this assignment, again, feel free to ask. Okay, so now that we've discussed the program evaluation article critique, the 2 discussion assignments for the week, you should have posted, if you haven't already, you should be posting your literature review article in the week 5 discussion section. And that counts as your initial post for this week. So that's actually pretty easy. And then by Sunday night, you're going to respond to 2 classmates, and you're going to describe what you have learned from your peers and what you can add to your peers' learning regarding the literature review articles themselves and or the process of critiquing. And make sure you're following the maximum word requirements and using the discussion forum directions and grading rubric as your guide as you're constructing your answer and posting your responses to your peers. I think that's pretty straightforward this week. But again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And finally, oops, all right. The last thing is the dyad check-in and discussion. So in week 5, the dyads should be meeting by phone or Skype and continuing your progress toward your final presentation. As part of this week's discussion, you should be talking about the research questions for each of your articles. With regard to the quantitative article, you want to discuss what the hypothesis or hypotheses are in that article and the way the findings were presented in each article. And if any of those elements are not present in the articles, you also want to discuss that and sort of make your best guess at what the missing component might be. So for example, if the authors do not state the hypothesis in a quantitative article, what might that hypothesis be based on the other information they provide? And then what you're going to be posting by the end of the week, each member, so again, this is a week in which each member of the dyad or triad will be posting individually. You're going to post all of your answers to the above questions using headings and labels for your article in the forum. In addition, each dyad is going to post the date and times that they met by Sunday in the forum. So again, you're going to be answering these 3 questions for each of the articles. The only exception to that is you're only going to have a hypothesis in the quantitative article because a qualitative article typically will not have a hypothesis. Again, if anyone has any questions about that, please feel free to email me, post in the Ask the Instructor forum, or join the virtual office hours tomorrow. And I think that is it for this week. It seems a little bit lighter in terms of assignments than some of the previous weeks, which should give you more time to focus on your program evaluation article critique. I look forward to reading everyone's assignments. I've really enjoyed seeing everybody progress thus far. I definitely see people learning. I know sometimes certain aspects of the course can be challenging, whether it's related to understanding specific concepts or understanding, how to interpret statistical sections of articles. But I really feel like everyone's been making a great effort thus far, and I'm really looking forward to reading your literature review article critiques this week and getting those back to you, and as well as your work in week 5. So everyone have a great week, and I will talk to everybody soon.